Running a brokerage is hard work, so whether you're focused on building your own sales pipeline, hiring the best agents, leveling up your team's production, or protecting the culture you've built, you're in the right place. Real estate brings the challenges, and we share the solution. Welcome to the show dedicated to broker entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Brokerpreneur podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I'm here as usual with the big guy, Matt Vai.
Hi.
And I could eat some until right now. 280 episodes.
I could eat some clay by the bay. I just may.
Exactly.
Go Happy Gilmore, baby.
Happy Gilmore there. If you guys haven't seen that,
Go watch it right now.
Yeah, go watch it right now. Hit that like button.
That's right. On the way out.
Yeah. Matt, what are we talking about today, man?
So market shifting, right? We've talked a lot about that. Now is the perfect time to talk about it. But so how to help your agents build their real estate team if the market is shifting is part of it, and then how to be attractive to to agents in the market as a broker if the market's shifting. How do you attract recruits that maybe haven't realized they need to shift what's going on with their team, right?
No,
so we're going to dig into all that.
I like it. Well, before we do, guys, I kind of hinted at it. Go down there and hit that like button really quick wherever you're listening to this, especially if it's on YouTube. That's a huge algorithm helper for us and helps get our content, closer to the top of the list. Also, leave a comment, at the end if you have a question about anything that we have to say. Or gosh, if you just appreciate what was in the podcast, man, say great content. We'd love that as well.
Yep.
So we always talk about real estate recruiting, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
We got a free recruiting bundle.
Right
down in the link in the description below. We just added that. It's super cool. It's got 5 or 6 really cool things that we put together. Replays from past events, like how to get 5 hires in 30 days, that kind of thing. And some really cool downloads that we know will help you guys inside of your brokerages. So go check out that.
Yep.
Team building, Matt.
Yep.
Right. There's a million different strategies.
Oh, of course.
Right. Let's just dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the recruiting bundle for just a second because it kind of dovetails into what you just
perfect.
said. Okay. So the reason why we put that recruiting bundle together was because every brokerage is different. But there's some fundamental things that brokerages all need to work on. So depending on what phase you are in your business, that's why that recruiting bundle makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So things shift a little bit, things change. Maybe you need this time, and a month from now you're going to need that. That's why that bundle is set up. That way.
Yep.
So you use 2 things in the next 3 months, and then 7 months from now you come back and go, oh yeah, I've got that bundle in it. Right. Okay. With that being the situation, that's the same thing that we have to look at as the market shifts if we're building a real estate team. It's the same exact thing, right? So let's say that you're a real estate agent. You're looking around at your team and your production is down. The natural thing to do is say, everybody prospect more, right? Right? Go do this more, right? But let's say that right now, you're the rainmaker. You're the one that generates all the listings, and for the past 2 years or however long, you've had a bunch of people that are helping support you, and they're dealing with all the buyers, and there's overflow, and you've got leads coming in from these sources. But right now, I'm asking you to go take a look. Are all those leads coming in buyers?
Yeah.
Is that why your production isn't where it needs to be? The things have shifted. It's time to change up your bundle. Is what I'm basically saying. Okay. Yeah. And so what I mean by that is it time for you now as a broker, let's say that you're a broker and a team leader, is it time for you to go out and try to find some more listing agents?
Yeah.
Right? And of course, everybody's saying, well, Matt, I'm always doing that. Okay, well, maybe you're not doing it as actively or as hard as you should be doing it right now if your business is dropping off. Because listings right now that are priced well, we talk to brokers and agents all over the country all the time. Mm-hmm. Listings that are priced well, that are in that median of what, man, they're going. They're still selling. Okay. So if your overall production is down, I know that as a broker, you need listing agents on your team. But going forward, maybe that's a lot more crucial than it has been historically. And maybe it's time to look at your team compensation structure, look at your team support structure, look at your virtual assistants and your transaction coordinators and your administrative staff. Are all of them playing in a role that is really geared towards something that is not where the market is going?
Yeah.
And if so, No wonder why you're struggling hiring somebody, because you're telling everybody I need listing agents, but what your whole team is set up for is to help buyers, right? And
Right.
a drastic example, but that's the main point, right? Take a close look at all of that.
Yeah, that makes a sense. Makes a lot of sense because it does make a scent too.
It'll make more than one.
It doesn't sometimes makes an odor.
Right? Oh no, I thought you meant like a cent, like a penny.
I did it first.
Okay. You just kept it
I
moving.
just kept changing, man. I was like,
gotcha.
I'm just gonna go down that rabbit hole. You know how I do.
Gotcha.
So everything that you're talking about, right? Hey, I'm going out there and I'm looking for listing agents, and they come and it's like, no, I'm really suited for buyer's agent. That just brings us right into our next topic, which is leadership and culture.
Absolutely.
That's a huge shift if that's what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as a broker leader of the office, we know that you have to be guiding people and showing them that you are prepared for the market, right? We talk about this all the time. Have the information so that you have some expertise, so that you truly can help your people with what's going on in the market. And we've talked a lot about this, but let me be really direct. You need to be getting reports, or going and getting reports, or having your staff go and pull reports and put them on your desk, or however you deal with that, from NAR. There's reports that come out on a very regular basis. Go get those. You're
like
paying
market
for
reports.
market reports. They offer a bunch of different kinds of reports. Annually, they offer buyers and sellers a breakdown guide, characteristic guide of what the buyers and sellers are. They offer reports on economic stats. They offer all kinds of right. Go find the one that you can get your head wrapped around. Go find the one that you really like. Get that one on a regular basis. Get one on a regular basis from your state association. Get one on a regular basis from your local association. And then you've heard me say this before. Set up a report every morning that sends you from the MLS, just as if you were a buyer, the information that you need to know what's going on with the market.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying spend 96 hours a day to analyze all this.
Yeah.
But if you have it all in front of you and you're used to seeing it and you know where the numbers are, you could spend 30 minutes once every other week and be really, really in tune with what's going on with the market. At that point, you're leading your team the way that your team needs to be led. Think how much better your conversation is going to be if you're trying to hire a listing agent. And you can have that conversation with them about what's going on in the market. And you can say, yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, I looked at it. I pulled the stats from NAR and they were like this, and our state association was like this, but that's not really what we're seeing. So I think we're kind of trailing in that. And you've historically done a lot of listings in the past. How are you preparing for that?
Hey, Dr. Ben here. I hope you're enjoying this episode. If sometimes you feel overloaded or alone when it comes to building your brokerage, I want you to know that we are here for you. There's so much support available to agents, but hardly any dedicated to brokers. I want to personally invite you to schedule a complimentary strategy call where Matt will help you build a 3-step profitability plan that will immediately produce results. This is not a sales pitch. There's no obligation. Simply click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the show.
Man, you have that conversation with the recruit.
Yeah.
And the recruit's going, I wasn't preparing. I didn't know that was all happening, right? And then they're thinking to themselves, I need to be around somebody that's helping keep me ahead of all of that.
Why didn't I know this?
That's exactly right. And so that allows you to stay in that role just because you have that stuff automatically coming to you and because you're leading.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cool thing about that is you just being an expert in what you do is such a better, tool to recruit real estate agents than a tactic or a close or
absolutely,
and then even more so as you continue to do that and recruits come in and you start hiring more and more agents, you're going to continue obviously looking at the information on those reports, and you'll be able to bring that into coaching conversations that you have with your current agents. You're going to bring that into your sales meetings, or whatever you want to call them, your special friend meeting, your friend meetings,
right?
And you just become, in the eyes of your agents and the agents in the market. Gosh, this person just knows the real estate market. I know the first time that I ever, had a real estate conversation with you, I had been with a couple brokers before, and it was just like, okay, well, there's no one that knows more about real estate than this guy. Now it's just like, okay, he just pulled a report that morning. No, I'm just joking. But
well, that's what leaders do.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so it was, you know, it was a no brainer for me at that time to say, okay, well, this is where I want my license to be. And the same thing will happen with any, I call myself a quality agent, with any quality agent that you would want inside of your office.
Right.
As well.
That's being a leader.
Yes.
Being prepared is being a leader. Luck favors the prepared, right?
Yeah.
You want to be lucky in recruiting?
Yeah.
Then be prepared.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Matt. We should do a podcast on that sometime.
Yeah, right.
And so let's look at our next topic. You know, you can integrate technology into all this, right?
Yeah, 100%. Not only can you, but you just have to.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you just have to. So what I mean by that is when you're recruiting and you're trying to bring people in and you're trying to help the team, whether it's your team or whether it's your team leader's team, be better at what they're doing in their business, you need to know what tech they're using.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say that I'm in the office and I've got 20 or 30 or 50 agents or whatever the number is. I've got 2 teams that do a decent amount of production and everything. If I tell those teams, you know what, when you come across somebody that'd be a good fit for the office, man, I'd love for you to send them my way if you don't want them for your team. And as I come across people that would be a good fit for your team, you know what I'd love to do is I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about, possibly bringing that person on and we can tag team and see if they're a good fit. In order to do that, you have to have an idea of what tech your team is using.
Yeah.
If you want to make that part of what your offering is, if you want to grow in that silo, being able to help your team leaders actually grow their team, if you want to do that, you have to know what tech they're using. If you don't have any idea what tech they're using, right, you offer a whole bunch, but you don't know what it is that they're using, it makes it hard for you to have that conversation with them, and then you don't look in sync. You don't look like you're leading.
Yeah.
You look like you're just sitting down figuring out what they do as you're sitting next to them, and the person that's talking about possibly joining Dr. Ben's team can't believe that the broker doesn't have any idea how Dr. Ben does business in their
You start
brokerage.
using that thing? I didn't know that. That's cool.
What's it called? Let me write that down. It sounds like a great tool.
Yeah. You're such a good leader. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And last, gosh, man, this last topic it kind of comes into play with every podcast that we ever do. And so that's communication and accountability.
Absolutely. Yeah, both of those have to be in play. And right now, more than ever, your team leaders need to understand that they have to hold their team accountable to function a certain way. They always have to. But as we're during the sloppy time of the transition, okay, between one market and the other market, as we're doing that sloppy transition, we have to make sure that you're operating as efficiently as possible and using the tools and systems as effectively as possible. So that way you're just focusing on missed efficiencies instead of everybody running around trying to grab on to what they can do to help themselves succeed, right? Yeah. So at that point, you need to know what tools you're using, but you have to be accountable. You have to make sure your team leaders are accountable, and you have to be accountable to holding your team in place to communicate what's going on with them to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. If not, sloppy transition, right? We're kind of at the bottom where the pendulum swings. We're kind of hitting that sloppy bottom. As we're hitting that sloppy bottom, man, if everybody's running in a different direction, you're gonna have a really hard time keeping everybody on your team and pulling the sled in the direction that it needs to go. You need to keep everybody kind of synchronized. And the best way to do that, as we all know, is consistent communication and the level of accountability from them that they need to stay on track, using the tools that they're supposed to and communicating the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Matt, I've kind of gone through all my notes. I've touched on everything that I feel like we need to. Anything else that you want to add before I put a little bow on it?
Oh, so this 100%, this is something that taking a look at all of your teams and what they're good at. If you're a broker and you have teams inside your brokerage, spend 5 minutes on every one of them and ask yourself, are they prepared for the shift? Do they have the right team in place to execute that shift? Yeah. Are they using the technology that they're supposed to? And is their team cohesive enough to make it through the shift the way that they need to? Because what you don't want is your team leader. You got 4 team leaders. There's 5 or 6 people on each team, and then all of a sudden they start losing admins and buyers agents go somewhere else, and this person moves, and the next thing you know, you have a big mess between all of them. if you don't have your arms wrapped around that, they're going to look around and go, well, what is it that's not working? And they're going to ask the other team member from their office, and they're going to go, yeah, I'm running through the same struggles. And they're going to say, you know what, maybe it's because of where we are. Let's take a look at something else that might be a better fit. You want to try to avoid that.
Yeah, of course.
Make sure you're looking at those 4 things we just discussed.
Yep, I love it. Well, guys, wherever you're listening to this, here's the 5th thing. Wherever you're listening to this, hit the follow button, that subscribe button. We would absolutely love that. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell right beside of it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. There's no better time than the present. Then go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. Check out all the cool things that we have there to help you grow your brokerage, no matter what phase or stage of the business that you're in. Man, click that link in the description below. Register for Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society. It is every single Friday from 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's just Matt and I there live with brokers from across the country, some of our clients, some podcast listeners, you name it. Anyone is welcome. And we talk about recruiting, retention, agent productivity. We would love for you to be there. We'd just love to meet listeners in person. That's just a really cool thing to us. So,
yeah, imagine that this topic that we just talked about. Imagine being on Mastermind and being able to say, Matt, what the hell do you mean by that? Or somebody else saying, hey, Matt, whenever I do this, another broker from somewhere across the country saying, hey, Matt, when I do what you were just talking about, this is the result I got, so I started doing this. Imagine being able to be in that conversation. That's really what BNSS is all about.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, Matt, we do that as well as everything else that we do for one reason alone. Tell them why that is.
Man, we just want to be part of your win.